Hello everyone, I'm Jeanette, and I decided to teach myself Adobe Dimension for the final project. It's really cool. I've been interested in like 3D modeling. One of my artists that I picked at the beginning of the semester was a 3D digital artist. So, it was really cool to see how you can use textures and how everything looks so realistic in 3D modeling with Adobe Dimension. The first thing I did was just show file new, the basic scene, what it looks like. On the left-hand side, there are automatically just objects that we are able to drag into the scene and edit and do everything to, which is really cool. And right next to there is the materials, so you can change the textures of everything that you add to the scene. And they have so many. They have metals, there's leather, there's polyester. And then the next one over is the lighting, so you can change lighting on all of the objects. And they have cool stuff like warm lighting and studio lighting, and then you can add your own background too that they already have set up. So for this intro, I decided to just choose one of the objects that we have available. I chose the table with the cloth on tablecloth, and I decided to do like editing on it and see what we could do with Adobe Dimensions. So when you first drag it, so all you do is hold it down and drag it to the middle of the scene. And with the dolly tool that's available, you click the letter, I think it was number 3. And if you drag out, you're able to zoom out and zoom in. And then the number 2 is the move tool, so you can move around the camera. And the last one, number 1, if you press number 1 on your keyboard, it's the orbital tool where you can move around and circle around the camera and makes it easier to like look at all of the sides of the objects if you want to edit something. So, and it's important to know the camera movements, and it's easy because it's numbers 1, 2, 3, so that you can move things around and make sure everything looks right. The next thing is the size tool. It's the letter S on the keyboard, and you're able to like change the X axis, Y axis, and Z axis, and you can do that on the right side where it has the properties too. Or you can just use your mouse and drag the little squares. The green one is like the length, and then the red you do right and left. It was pretty cool to figure out everything. I kind of started just trying to try things out on my own, just playing with it. So what they have on the right side when you click on an object is the actions you can use on it. So the one all the way to the right was move to ground, so it would set the table to the bottom of the scene so it looks flat on the ground. And then you can delete it if you have to and stuff. And up top where on the top right where it has the scenes, it shows the cloth on the table and the stuff that you can edit with it. So like the table legs and then the cloth. And I dragged over the lotion bottle that they had available. When you click move to ground, it's see how it moved all the way down to the ground below the table. So I'm using the classic Control Z to undo. And what's important to know too is how you can undo your camera movements too. So if I move the camera and I don't really like where it went, you can click on camera and then camera undo. I don't think it showed up in the video, but for my keyboard too, I have Windows. It would be the home button, and then the end button would redo your camera movement. which is cool. And so I set the bottle on the table. And right now I'm decided to choose a material for it. I was thinking silver, like a silver bottle, or they had glass, which is cool because the glass one really looks glass. It's like, whoa. And when you click on it, it sets the properties for it already. So the opacity's up, and you can change the opacity and the roughness and make it look metallic, which is cool. And glow, brighten it up. So I did that with the bottle. I moved the metallic a little bit so that it looked a little less transparent. And they have translucence there too, so you can make it really see-through or not. Yeah, it's cool to just look at all the drop-down menus that when you click on an object, they pop up, and you can edit it however you'd like. And they also have colors there, so you can change the color of the bottle, interior color, and base color. So this was a base color change. I changed it to green, which was cool. And it keeps the shininess and the metallicness of the bottle that we set before, which is really cool. And yeah, one other thing that's cool is in the actions part that comes up with the object is you can set a graphic model. And what that is you can just upload one of your previous Adobe programs. Like I chose the teapot we did in the assignment, the Illustrator assignment, and I'm able to add it onto as a decal for on the bottle, and it matches the properties we had on the bottle, and it wraps around it, and it looks like it's on the bottle. So cool. And you can add stuff that you've done from Photoshop, and you can add from Illustrator, and you can add just a regular PNG file, and you can choose to fit it to the bottle size so it would stretch around the bottle, or have like a little decal sticker, which was cool. And then so I did a little more editing on the bottle to see more shininess on the decal. And I thought that was cool. You're able to go into Photoshop and Illustrator, and if you click that little edit button, it would open Illustrator, and I can edit my teapot however I'd like again. And then when I click save, it would save on here. And that was really cool. So I like that about Adobe Dimensions, how it connects the other two easily. This was the shapes pattern that we had to do. So I changed it to that, and I fit it to the bottle size to fill it. So now it looks like a cool little decoration thing on the bottle. And what's cool is how it looks so seamless. Like it's really cool. So I decided to stick with that one. So I have my shapes pattern on the bottle, and that was on the body. And now I'm able to click on the lid of the bottle and change the color. When you choose an object, it like separates the parts that you can edit. So it had the lid and they had the body of the bottle. And here I changed the color to gold to match the little gold bells, and just tested with the opacity, brightness, metallic, and stuff again. And after that, I think I was getting on to the table. I checked out the lighting, see what the lighting looked like. That was the warm lighting, and it goes on as environmental light. Yeah. So right now I'm looking for a table material to put on. I think I did plastic, which is at the top. It's cool because it's like shiny plastic tablecloth. And once you click on it, it's gray, so you can't really see the shininess, but you can see on the folds on the side. So when you click on the cloth on the table, you're able to change the color again and all of the properties that we talked about before. So I stuck with red. Put the glow up a little bit to see it, make it a little more shinier, and I did a little translucence. And next thing up was the side table, which are the legs of the table. And here they have more material. They have wood, so I could do wood legs, which is really cool. And you can change like how the wood looks. And the bevel intensity and the roughness of it, planks, just like how the lines look on the wood, which is cool. And you can change the hue too. So I could have made it green if I wanted to, but I stuck with the wood color. And so right now we have like a complete colored in table and lotion bottle, which is really cool. And I'm able to use things that I've done before. And so now I decided to stick a background on there. And when you put a background on, it has the action of matching the image. So I just made sure all of the basics were checked off, and it loads and sets the objects that we have on nicely to fit the background, which is cool. And it changes the lighting and everything. So I just messed it up when I moved the camera, but I can reset that. But so if you match the image, it would move your objects to fit perfectly into the background that they have. And yeah, so here I'm just seeing what I can do after change the size of the scale of it again. But I'd rather just keep it so it matched nicely with the background. Yeah. And next thing up would be the lighting of this is where I'm testing out the home button and the end button to change the camera, undo and redo. And but next thing up will be the lighting for the table. So I tried out different lightings. I had cool studio, warm lighting, and the more you click on, all of them save when you click on them under environment. So you can delete the ones that you don't want, so you only have one source of lighting, or you can have more than one source of lighting, which is cool. Yeah, and they have cool stuff like disco, studio stage, like a nightclub type of lighting, which is nice. Not for the setting that we have here, but still pretty cool. And yeah. Yeah, I found that it wasn't that difficult to learn with Adobe Dimensions. I really just looked at 2 YouTube videos and I wanted to try it by myself rather than stick to a tutorial. And after, I was able to get the hang of it pretty quick. It doesn't have a lot of actions like Photoshop or Illustrator on the left side. It's really just scale, rotate, and move. And then you have the camera movements, and which I thought was really cool. So it's really, and you would think, well, I would think, what I thought that 3D design would have a lot more actions and stuff, but it was nice to see how simple, but not simple it was. Because it did take me like 6 hours to do this, but Anyway, they have a banana material, banana object. So I decided to add that on the table too. So here I'm doing rotate. You click the letter R. Rotate the banana so it looks like it's on top of the table. And I moved it. You can move with the letter E, and with the move tool, yeah. So it sat on top of the table and not like through it, because things can go through other objects if they can't really. You'd have to set it exactly to sit on top. And yeah, here I'm just trying to set it so it looks nicely. Rotate again, letter R, and yeah. So here, and then after, you can, there's a select tool too, which is the letter V. And that one, I found it was similar to the letter E, the move tool. You're able to move it and twist it the same. And here I am changing the color, getting yellow for the banana, so we're accurate. And I think I found a good yellow color. And yeah, there you're also able, I didn't mention before, change the offset and the offset of the image, so you can turn it and rotate it there also when you click on it, rather than using like the letter S to scale, which is cool. So here I have a banana on the table, and I think it looks pretty good. Like and next thing, if you click on environment on the scene drop down, you can edit the whole lighting together, all the lightings that you have. So with global intensity and global rotation, you can move the lighting, and there it shows the background that you chose. And you can change the shadow opacity if you want a light shadow. And here I'm making, you can also match the lighting for the image. So if you click match image, it would change the lighting so it fits nicely, like it changed the objects before. And when you finally think you're finished, you click the render tab that's on the top and give it a name. So I did mine lotion and banana 3D. And high quality is the best one, but it is slow. Once I did low quality just because it's faster. But you can see the difference between the high quality and the low quality. And you can save it as a Photoshop file or a PNG file, which is cool. And it takes a minute to render, but it brings the image up and then it loads it slowly into the screen. And in the end, you are able to get two files, a PNG file and a PSD file, that you can open up in Photoshop, that I show in a minute, and you can edit it there too. So I can change the levels if I wanted to, or the hues of everything, and I can add more texture there and then save it again. So I found that really cool how you're able to switch it up easily and go to Photoshop. So here it is open in my Photoshop, and it has all the layers. It has that was needed for it, which is interesting. I didn't look that much into the different layers, but it does look cool. And it has the rendered image and then the background image, and I can hide them like we've done and see all of the layers, which is cool. And I can click on the cookie at the bottom and change the levels. or the hue. So I clicked it on the rendered image and I can change the hue of the table and banana and lotion all together because they're grouped. And the brightness of it. So yeah, like I said, you're able to edit this on Photoshop after you rendered it. This is where I zoom in for you can see the low quality of the image. It is low quality, but it does look pretty realistic, which I like. And yes. And this is the photo, the PNG of it. Again, the low quality. But it is realistic, as I said. Really cool. I had a lot of fun. And next thing up I did was create my own 3D room. I found that there was a YouTuber, his name is Dansky. He did an intro to Dimension, and that's where I learned all of the necessities. And after he did another video of creating a 3D room, so I wanted to try it on my own. So I took just the basics of what he did, the 2 walls and the floor, and then tried to do it on my own. So what I did first was take 3 cubes from the objects that we have on the left, and they pop up on the scene whenever you drag them in. And what you're able to do is if you click on them on the scene and click Control D, you can copy them. You can copy them onto itself, and then when you move it or scale it, you have an exact copy, which is cool. And I renamed them to give some order, make sure I know what I'm doing. I added the cloth table that we worked on before. And then here I added another cube on the wall. And I clicked on image, got the base color as the image. And was able to load in a Photoshop file, and it was the fine art that we've done before. And so I was able, to do the fine art, I had to multiply it and then move it around so that it fits nice on the canvas, quote unquote. And with that, I was able to change the material and add a texture. So I did a rough, I think, plastic texture on the canvas, and now it looks like a painting, which was cool. I was like, wow. Next thing up, I'm trying to make a lamp. So I started with a cone. I brought the scale down of the tip of the cone so that it is lower to the ground. And then I took a regular cylinder and brought it up, and the one that I'm working on here is a torus. So it's just a circle before, but you're able to slice it. If you scroll down to the properties, you can slice it at a certain angle. So here I sliced it at 273, and I'm trying to move it with the letter E on the keyboard, the letter V, and scale it so that it looks like it's curved onto the cylinder, so it looks like a pole, like a lamp pole. So that took a while because I couldn't really get it right. But after trying, it finally was able to fit not too bad. And yeah, so I had like a little curve to the cylinder, which is really cool. And that was the lamp stand and the lamp curve, and I changed it so that I know what's what. Here I added another cone, but this one's hollow, and added it on top of the curve so that it looks like a little lampshade. And then they had a teardrop shape that I twisted and turned to fit into the cone, so it looks like a light bulb. So yeah, here I'm just adjusting the size of both of them, the shade and the light bulb, so that it fits nicely. And then I had a cool lamp. Next thing up, I wanted to just add some decoration on the wall. So they had a star, so I scaled that so it fit nicely on the wall but didn't peek out on the other side. And next thing I did, I wanted to add like this cool decoration thing in the room. So it's basically inspired by what I have in my house. It's like a little container, and it just has like I don't know how to describe it. It's like these, it's not real plants, but it's like just these line things. So I decided to take some cylinders and put them in that little container, copy them with Control D, and move them around, rotate them, letter R, so that they look like they were inside the square and like leaning on it. And then I took a torus and sliced it because I wanted to add like a curvy look. So I sliced it and I rotated it so it was fit inside nicely on the inside the box. And then I decided to copy that two more times and connect them so that it was like a cool swirly shape. And so I had, yeah, so my idea was like a nice decoration thing in the inside the room. And I moved the other cylinders so they weren't inside my cool swirly shape. They were hanging around and leaning on it, and then copied. I was able to group with Control G, group the toruses together so that I can move them all around instead of one at a time. And with that, that group, I can copy that, Control D, and then move that around so it looked like it was leaning out of the box. And I thought that was really cool. I was kind of proud of myself for that. Took me a little while. And here I'm just grouping the cylinders all together so that, since they're all the same. And I noticed on the objects that they have 3 splashes. So it was like a splash of water, a splash of, or it could be whatever, but it's like splash of liquid. I was like, oh, that'd be cool if I can put that on the table. So I wanted to do a cup, but I couldn't really find a cup shape, just the cylinder, and I was having trouble sizing it nicely. But then I noticed they had this bowl, like a hollow sphere. So I'd rather use a bowl, and I got rid of that cup later. So I sat the bowl on top of the table, tried to make sure it didn't go through the table. I leaned it so that the bowl looked like it tipped over a little bit. Got rid of that cup, and instead of the cup, I added a gift bag because I wanted more than one thing on that table. So they already have that gift bag there, which is nice. And here I'm adding the splash. So they had splash A, B, C. This one's splash B. Super cool. And I'm rotating it and sizing it so it looked like it's liquid coming out of the bowl. Because it tipped over. And it fit really nicely. Like it looks like it's falling out, which is really cool. And then I used splash C on the ground. So it's like some of it already fell. And it hit the ground, and I thought that was awesome. I loved it. And I labeled them, make sure that I had the right ones. And then for that texture, I used the olive oil texture, so it's like liquidy. And here I'm changing the properties of it, so it kind of looks like water. And I'm just matching it with the splash in the bowl and the splash on the ground. So they look the same. And which was cool. So I did like translucence a little all the way up and put some glow on. And yeah, changed the opacity of it. So yes, it took me a little while to get those to look the same, but it looks like water, which is super cool. And then next thing, I decided to add color to the gift bag, so I chose plastic, and pink, and I changed the glow, kept the translucence down so that it's, makes sense. And then, yeah, I had a pink bag, and I changed the bowl to a glass bowl, which I thought was a great idea. It looked cool. And I could change the color of the bowl and everything, so I did a little gray. And here's my shape pattern that we used for the lotion bottle. I used it for the tablecloth this time. And set that nicely. And then changed the table legs to a wood color. And here, I don't think it showed, but I did walnut wood, and when you double click it, you can edit it. So it brought up to Photoshop, and I was able to change the saturation and the brightness of it. So now I've made it a little darker than it was, which is super cool. And once I saved that on Photoshop, it saved right there on Dimension. And here I'm just testing out materials for the star. They had brass. I think I did clean gold, which was nice. And they had that cool, like, stained glass type of look, but that didn't really match. So I stuck with the gold, and here I'm looking at the hue and the intensity. And with that one, you can add scratches to it, which is cool. So I did, like, some scratches on the star. And here is where it all went downhill. um, I tried to do the floor and change the floor of the of it to a wood floor, and my thing it crashed and my computer got too hot. So luckily I was able to save another copy of it, but I lost my cool design, my cool decoration thing that I worked on. It took me like 3 hours, but it's okay. So this is my other one, my first trial. And here I'm just showing like the different walls type of things that I didn't get up to with the last one. So I found this cool looking wall color, and I kept the brown wood floor. And here you're able to change like the saturation and the hue contrast of the wall. So I kept the contrast down and moved the saturation a bit. Brought back my clean gold star with the scratches. It's not as big as the other one, but that's okay. And then this is my first lamp. So without the curve, it actually has like a little ball at the top that I put as metallic so that it looks matches. So for the lamp, I did black color. Yeah, I kept the shade felt, and it was black, and then they had a cool metallic looking material for the pole. Here I decided to bring up my Illustrator project that we did. So for this, I did this in Illustrator earlier in the semester, and here I'm able to edit it, like I said, and add changes. So after I did that, the changes showed up on Dimension, and here I can change the offset to move it around if I wanted to get a certain part of the image on that tablecloth. And I changed the metallic and everything. Here I brought back the wood stand for the table, changed the colors so it was different from the floor a little bit. And here I have my room. Next thing was the lighting that we have. So here I'm just looking at the different lighting that I thought would match. I did the warm key lighting, and here you can change the rotation, so where the light is directed at, which is cool. And you can change the color of it too, so I can make it yeah, I can make it bright whiter or I can make it more warm tone. And yes, so that was the end of my thing.